The Noob Squad, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
What's up, players? Yeah, caught you off guard. Hey, you suck.
Oh, we're starting.
Yeah, I've already
started.
shit. Okay. I pressed the buttons, therefore I have started the show. Welcome along to the Noob Squad podcast. What you didn't see is the massive amount of admin we just did. I just decided to turn the mics on and start it. So welcome along to the Noob Squad podcast, players. You're here with Player One Storm, and to my right, as per usual, just spending time in the San Andreas gym with CJ. It's Player Two, Chris Keezy.
Yeah, g'day guys. Did you guys ever get to that gym in San Andreas where you unlock like the karate moves? And then all of a sudden CJ stops being a boxer and can like kick people in the head. That's in like, yeah. It's a bit of a San Andreas throwback. Just remembered when you mentioned it actually.
Yeah, okay.
Unlocking the karate moves.
Thanks for that. And on my left, trying to really work out the perfect chemistry with his FIFA team, it's Joe Shuka on the Player Threes. G'day, mate.
G'day, mate. Yeah, no, we're just watching some Man City take on, what is it, Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, Nottingham Forest. Haaland.
Destroying them, yeah.
Holy
You actually guys were watching football?
Yeah. When I was sending you the rundown of the show, and then I said, here's what's coming up, and then I didn't put the rest. And then
Yeah.
And then you put in a pretty
And then I was all like, pretty brief potty then.
Yeah, and then I was in the middle of watching Haaland score like a hat trick.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't even know who that dude was until 5 minutes ago, but he's my favourite football player now.
Is he the blonde guy?
Yeah, blonde guy from
Norway.
Came from Norway.
He's definitely
Where all good
Scandinavian.
footballers come from.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring up something quickly. I was playing a little bit of Fortnite last night, and I I had realized exactly that I was pretty, what's the best way to say it? Pretty shit at it, really.
Oh, really?
And it reminded me of those videos of like people when they go to like the clubs on a Saturday night or something, and they're like, my stats for tonight was 3 how you doings, and 4
She's a baddie.
She's a baddie. 5 like spews in the toilet and stuff. Because what I actually realized,
Damn, you guys suck on a night out. That's how punishing it is.
Hey, 5 SKUs is a PB, man. Leave me alone.
Jesus.
That's a isn't that a
It's a lot of
liquid record?
Yeah, I think
Wasn't
so.
that the record at Family Bar? They've got you up on the wall
on the Hall of Shame.
The Hall of Shame. The whole hall.
There's a
dedicated
whole
to it.
hall, and it's just
Damn.
a decal of me vomiting.
But I did realize yesterday the amount of times I said, "Oh shit." And like I must have done about I think I finished last night's game with a pretty impressive stat line of 14, fuck these guys. 17, I would have lived if you boys were there. A couple of, I think maybe 13, and nice, gotcha, you bastard.
I was going to say Age of Empires 2 is a good one for that, because I swear every game starts out like, got plenty of time, and then it's like, oh, they're rushing me, guys. They're rushing me. Oh, nah, I'm screwed. Guys. You got to come help, guys. Why aren't you helping? God, I'm screwed. Let's just restart. Let's restart.
That's the part I hate about Age of Empires the most is that you think you're doing so good, and then you just hit the and then you're like, what the hell?
Keezy's coming in with some knights.
with a rush tactic of this entire...
Well, if I was to take the statistics chat and apply it to me, I was playing Elden Ring before coming here today.
Yeah.
And Lucy, my fiance, was working from home, and she's like, "Oh, babe, I'm going to go to the gym. Do you want to? I've just put the washing on. Do you want to hang that out in 15 minutes?" Also, she's strapping up her wrist because it's sore. She's like, "Could you rip this tape? Rip it or cut it?" And I was midway through a boss in Elden Ring, which you cannot pause on, and it was the hardest boss ever, this massive dragon motherfucker. And then I was like, "Babe, I'm so sorry. I can't. I'll put the bloody washing machine on. I can't rip your tape." But mostly my stats would be, one, I don't say anything while I'm gaming because I'm doing it quietly so as not to wake up the fiance while she's asleep.
Oh,
that's nice.
So just silently playing games.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Weird. That's bloody weird, man. Anyway, I just had another protein bar. Mid-break. I shouldn't have done that.
Nah, it's all
my
good.
mouth is
Gains.
extremely dry. But
same for the Gains squad, bro.
Sorry, boys. So I'll leave that as we move into...
Easy on the pulse.
Pulse with the Noob Squad.
Jesus. You're good?
Maybe this protein bar.
Nah, that's just Storm. Look, 2 pieces of news today. The first piece of news is involving a very interesting a very interesting listing that's currently on eBay in France. Every single game console ever made, over 2,400 consoles being sold together in one collection.
What?
Did you? So when I say 2,000,
I didn't even know there were that many consoles.
Well, no. So when I say that, I mean special editions of every console, but we're talking like Atari, like literally everything from the very first console ever made right the way up to now, all the special editions, the whole lot of them, it's being sold for €1 million.
So someone sat down in the 80s or 90s and thought, you know what, this video game thing I think it's going to take off.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy every single literal console that comes out for the next 30 years.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be worth $1 million.
But you know what the weird thing about the story was? I was researching into it, and they actually started this collection and then decided to sell it all off. And they went to Tokyo like 10 years ago because they have all these really amazing secondhand electronics stores where they refurbish all these old consoles and you can just buy them off the shelves. They look brand new.
Yeah.
And it reignited it again. And so they restarted their collection again. So they've collected over like 3,000, 4,000 consoles in their
So
time.
they've done it almost twice.
Holy.
Yeah.
They've gone back to beat the boss again.
Yeah, exactly. They've gone back to clock New Game Plus or some shit.
Wow.
And they've come back and now they're selling it for €1 million, which, I mean, I think the joy of even having that many consoles would be the collecting process, right? You don't just want to buy it and immediately have them.
Well, I was almost going to say, because I don't know if they're boxed ones or they're unboxed.
Boxed.
So they're boxed.
Yeah.
Because you almost need to get two versions, a boxed version so you can display them all and be like, yo, that's my collection. But then also an unboxed version of it so you can actually use them as well. Because I feel like it'd be quite cool if your mates come
I'd
around.
probably unbox them anyway and then like have like I suppose you'd have to build 2,147 different boxes for them, but I'd love to display them instead of keep them in their box. Say you have the Game Boy Color and it's different variations of it, like the purple one, the green one, the see-through one, all of them. It's got to be out on display.
Yeah.
Sexy machines.
The only purpose I could think of as to why someone would pay €1 million for this is to maybe like add to a video game museum or collection of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's literally documenting the entire history of video games. Other than that, I kind of think it's a bit bizarre. I don't know. And if you sold them off individually, I wonder if you'd get more, although you've got to sell thousands of video. Oh, God.
I feel like you would make more, like for a special edition Game Boy or
Oh, yeah, some of them would be rare as.
It'd be rare F.
Not quite as cool as having like a car, like a classic car collection, is it?
Nah.
As much as we do love video games.
KZ, no?
I've got one.
Oh. You don't have 2,147 of them?
2,400. I don't wish I had that. No, it's not. It's kind of a weird thing to collect, although there is something about video games and people liking collecting stuff. You know what I mean? Like, have you noticed that gamers like having figurines and, like PopCap?
Pop figurines,
all that people, the same people that play games quite often are the same people that like collecting shit like that.
And I will say, I found on TikTok, I think I sent it to you guys because it's the first thing on TikTok I've found and gone, oh my God, I cannot get enough of this. And it was just a dude who ran a warehouse full of old games. Yeah. And you can still order them and they like refurbish them. They have collection. And so it's just this stacks of old like N64 games, PlayStation games, Nintendo stuff. And he's just shipping them out, put them to, it just, I don't know, it struck a real nice wholesome like bone in me.
Yeah. That retro nerve, right?
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for anything in my childhood, basically.
Are we skipping past the fact that Joe Shucks just said that he's got a wholesome bone in him?
Yeah. Well, no.
Well, I purposely skipped past that because,
I'll come back to it.
Okay, all right.
Filth Squad, still alive, man.
Gross, shucks.
That one wasn't even on purpose.
No.
Yeah, sure wasn't.
Okay, so here's my second piece of news. Today, The Last of Us Part 1 comes out, remastered.
Yo.
On the third console that it'll be on, right?
On its third console. So
console generation.
Yes, it came out originally on PlayStation 3. It was one of the last games on PS3.
Yeah.
And was amazing. And this was back in like 2012 or 11 or something, you know.
Wow, yeah.
No, 2013 it was. I remember it coming out. And I've watched some reviews on it. I watched a 20-minute review and the guy says, first of all, this isn't like a Skyrim remaster. This is like a full-blown ground up. They've redone all the graphics, right?
What was a Skyrim remaster?
That's just the exact same graphics, but they've made it 4K.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, like it's just garbage, basically. Whereas this, they've completely redone all the graphics, all the facial expressions. Everything looks like amazing. The only issue is it's still exactly the same gameplay. I've clocked it like 4 times.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and the first 10 minutes of this 20-minute review I watched was basically a guy going through all the new settings, which is like they've added all these things like, now you can do this, now you can do this. And I'm like, okay, this is a bad sign. It's half the review is all the things they've added in the settings, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Which is bad. And at the end of the day, I'm like, if you love something, right? So let's say your favorite movie of all time is the first Star Wars and a limited edition Blu-ray of the first Star Wars comes out and you want to get it to reminisce.
Yeah.
That's cool. The problem with this is that if you wanted to buy it on the PlayStation Store right now, this is a game that's been released 3 times. It is $140.
What?
Sorry?
for a game that has been out for a
Wow.
decade now.
And like, let's be honest, was a really good game when it
Amazing.
came out 10 years ago. The graphics were pretty, or like especially for its time,
Actually.
have probably aged relatively well too.
They're okay, but a lot of the reviews I watched today, all of them said that this is probably one of the best looking video games out there right now. Not
Right,
just for a
okay.
PS3 remaster or an old game,
Wow,
like right now. They've done an amazing job.
Just to put it into context though, so imagine when you got a PlayStation 3, say 2009, 2010, and they said, right, we're releasing Crash Bandicoot, the first game,
Yeah.
just going to remaster the graphics. Do you think people would clamor as much as they do nowadays for remastered games? It just seems...
I think that's different because like The Last of Us is of actual humans. You know, like-
Yeah, but it's just more the concept that, like, are we okay with this becoming... Because it's great that they actually have put a bit of work into it, but like,
Well,
it's still...
To be honest, I'm okay with them remastering old games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's 20 years ago, sure,
Bring
yeah.
Crash back, all good. Remaster that shit.
Yeah, 100%.
But when people like Skyrim and that Grand Theft Auto trilogy are just taking the piss and barely doing anything as a cash grab, that's when you're a bit like, So this game sits in the middle, I think. It's not just a cash grab like Grand Theft Auto trilogy that was a disaster because they've completely redone it and it's one of the best looking games on the market today, apparently. It's in the middle because it's still the same game that everyone's played. Have you guys all played it?
Yeah, I clocked it, man. It was amazing.
It's amazing, right? Have you played it, Shucks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
It was actually brought me almost to tears in the opening bit. It was so...
Oh, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So literally everyone's played it. It's an amazing game.
yeah.
It's a phenomenal game. And if you want to play it again or if you've never played it, this is the way to do it. But, I'm not spending $140 on the PlayStation Store. That's ridiculous.
I just saw IGN. They actually posted up because they like to do reviews and scores and stuff. They
did
gave it
they?
a 9, and their review says this is the best way to play or replay Naughty Dog's esteemed survival classic. The striking improvements it makes to its completely rebuilt world are complemented by the subtle refinements of its characters. Yada yada yada. They didn't really make any sense.
Yeah, but the problem with IGN is they are guilty of being paid to give good reviews.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, so
Oh,
you never
fuck
go on
yes.
theirs. You
Yeah.
got to go on the independent people on YouTube
Yeah.
and shit.
Oh, okay. I'll look for Keezy.com. And
Yeah, Keezy.
review to
Keezy
come out.
Gaming.
So I was playing God of War I think I'm on my 4th week of playing God of War now, and oh my god, it just keeps getting better and better. I can't believe I played this game earlier. But part of God of War is that you're going along with your son, and he helps in combat, and you can upgrade him. It's spectacular. And the one thing I was really thankful for as well is the fact that you don't have to worry too much about his health or
No, he's totally fine.
He's
Yeah.
totally chill on his own.
Yeah.
Which made me really thankful because one of the things I hate in games is when you have to look after an NPC character.
escort
An
missions.
escort mission.
Yeah, San Andreas.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto always
Any of
has
them.
escort missions.
There's so many of them.
Yeah, and it's always terrible because they're always buggy as and stuff. So it just got me thinking, if we can make the worst game possible, what kind of features would you have in it? And I thought I'd start. So yeah, any kind of escort mission, any kind of thing where you have to protect a certain person,
Yep.
especially if there's a time limit on it as well. I want to add that into our new AAA game. That's going to be the worst game in history.
I get it because they're normally quite hard, but I like the heart, like the heart rate it gets you up on.
Yeah, but quite
it is
often it's out of
frustrating.
frustration though, because
Yeah.
they're meant to follow you, and then they end up getting caught on something, and it's out of your control all the time. A lot of it can be luck.
Yeah, okay,
I think
yeah.
that's where it gets frustrating.
And the way God of War, they do it well because every now and then Atreus might have someone grabbing him, right?
And so he can't help you.
Yeah, and then you can stop that by throwing your it's very easy to stop it
Yes.
as opposed to having to run over there, beat someone up. It's a
Yeah.
pain in the ass. That's a really escort missions, eavesdropping missions.
Or like trailing missions. Yeah.
Like Assassin's Creed is so freaking many. You got to sit in
Yeah.
a bush next to some guys who are like, oh, let's go to the market where the bad guys are. And then you're like, oh, we'll follow them to the fucking market. Or Grand Theft Auto, when you have to trail them in a car. And it's like, don't get too close. And the car will stop and look around.
Yeah.
Huh? What was that?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Meanwhile, you're
Yes, it
still
was
driving
nothing.
like a nutcase to make sure you've crashed
Yeah.
into 14 people just down that one street.
And imagine if you're driving along and then as soon as you turn around, this car behind you just slams on its brakes.
Yeah.
And it's like, woo, nothing to see here. So I hate following missions as well.
Yeah.
So it'd be plenty of those.
I've got a couple more as well. I think unskippable cutscenes, especially cutscenes where you just like Watch Dogs. The first Watch Dogs and it's just him brooding about. Can't remember what happened, but something sad happened to him.
Yeah.
And everyone else had moved on, but he's just like, yeah, I got to redeem myself from war. It's like, bro, I don't care. Like I'm you, and I don't care. So can I just skip? And it's like, no, you have to watch 3 minutes of this guy
We're just explaining Rockstar games at the moment.
Hang on.
Yeah, but Rockstars have some substance to it,
Okay.
you know, like
I
you
would-
kind of feel attached to the character.
See, I totally disagree. Metal Gear Solid 4 had like half an hour long cutscenes which couldn't be skipped.
Yeah.
I agree with it then because
Yeah.
it's like 10 o'clock, you're like, I'll go to bed after this mission. Next minute, it's like 11 and you're still watching a cutscene.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God. So I agree with it there. I have never skipped a cutscene in a game if it's my first time playing it through, ever.
Yeah.
See, I'm usually like that, but when it's really, really bad,
When
like
it's
in the case
bad.
of Watch, it's just like there's no story going on here.
Yeah, okay.
Like, just get me to the next
Just
bit.
shit writing.
Yeah. So, in that sense, what was the other one I had?
I'll just go on quickly. I hate games. I think it's just a really shitty feature. And I think God of War might be guilty of this. Games that give you everything at the start, like allow you to have all your powers and all that stuff.
Old
but then
God
you
of War.
lose it, like old God of War. Games
Used to
that
do that.
and there's other games like that do that as well.
yes. Yep.
So you've started with it. You've got the ultimate blade of fuck everyone.
Yeah.
And then at
Blades
the
of
end,
Chaos, yeah.
and then someone comes on and is like, oh, we're just gonna take that off you. Now you've got to rebuild your way back up to being
Yes.
the man, and you lose all your strength.
How
Like,
do you
Yeah.
do that? How do you fix that though? Because you need to be able to develop your character as you're playing the
Oh,
sequel.
don't start them. Don't start them off amazing.
The other way that they do this is they quite often stop you from playing as, I think they do it in one of the Spider-Man games. It's like you're playing as Spider-Man, it's sick. And then next thing you're playing as Spider-Man's friend having to sneak through a facility. And he's got no superpowers. And it's like, what? Why am I
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
Spider-Man? I don't want to be this guy.
Mary Jane, is it? Mary Beth? What's her
Yeah.
name? Off Spider-Man? You have to play as her, breaking in and sneaking around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mary Jane.
Yeah.
MJ.
Yeah.
MJ, which, and like to be fair, that game's awesome.
Mary
Yeah.
Beth.
But those bits do suck.
Yeah.
Another one here is every time you enter a building, the game has to load.
Oh, yeah.
Like, did you guys ever play like Oblivion back in the day?
That one was bad,
Friends did,
but
yeah.
was it Resident Evil and even Dino Crisis from back in the days? Like when you'd walk into
And
the
it had the
door,
animation?
and
Yeah.
first it was press X to open the door, so you open the door, and then you go to a cutscene of either Jill Valentine or Leon or whoever was for Dino Crisis, I forget, opening the door. And then the game loads for you to continue.
Yeah.
But sometimes
Oh.
it would load the camera the wrong way. So then when you press forward, you just walk back out the door. And then you're
Yes.
like, oh my God.
Yeah, another one I'm just chucking in there based on that is having to watch it every time Arthur Morgan skins an animal.
Yeah.
You should be able to skip that shit as well.
Yeah. Or like you were saying with the fast travel the other day, and what game was it?
It was Red Dead, how you have to set up a tent.
Yes, yeah.
You have to set up your camp.
Where there's another game now that you just hit a button. It's like, boom, you're there. Don't even have to
Ghost
worry
of
about
Tsushima
that.
is like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Elden Ring's like that as well, which is good. Locked camera angle. So you can't move the
Ooh,
camera.
yeah.
It's old school. This is old God of War back in the day. 1
Yeah.
and 2 were like this.
Yeah.
They fixed the perspective, so they were in control. And so if you went to certain areas, you could barely see what was going on.
Yeah.
So that's a terrible one.
I think Resident Evil was a bit like that as well,
Yep.
because sometimes there'd be like hidden herbs, and they do that for exactly that thing. Hide items in the corner, so that when you'd walk and then randomly get the oh shit, press X,
Yeah.
herb. Out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you hide your herbs?
Yeah. in my cupboard. you sicko.
Oi. Oi.
Oi.
I've got one here. The game is mostly designed for its multiplayer.
Yeah.
So they don't give a shit about the campaign. And looking
Oh,
at
I
Call
hate
of
that.
Duty, man.
Yeah.
Like the ad is just this amazing like campaign.
I would call it.
Yeah,
Duty
it's
used
just
to be
one cool
good.
cutscene in the trailer. You're
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
that's it. That was the only cool thing in the
don't care.
single player. Yeah,
It takes 4
I want
hours.
to see
Yeah.
a Call of Duty ad where it's just a whole bunch of 12-year-olds having to go at adults being noobs and shit like
Yeah,
that. Like,
yeah.
That's the
Realism.
yeah.
Call of Duty
And it's like,
these
bro,
days,
I've got
isn't
an
it?
hour to play a week, man. Like, just let me have this. I know you got 8 hours a day. I've got another one, and God of War is actually guilty of it.
Now, hang on, can we stop making God of War guilty? It's like one of the greatest games ever
I've
made.
I've said it wasn't guilty. This is what led me into what makes a bad game. But it does it well because it's a fun game.
Right.
But games where you have to go, okay, you have to do a quest. But in order to do that quest, you got to go find 4 different things. And then on the way to do those 4 different things, something goes horrifically wrong in each situation. Rockstar games are also guilty of this. It's like, hey, this mission, just go pick up Greg and take him to the casino. And then meanwhile, as you go to pick up Greg, a gang attacks you or something. And it's just like, really? Like, no one has ever had a day this bad.
Oh, but
and all I had to go
Rockstar,
do.
You guys make great games.
Oh, they do make great games, but it's just very infuriating. It's like, can we just have something go right?
So what you want is for like Kratos, go grab the bow and arrow of destiny
Go
or
kill
whatever.
that dude. And it's like, cool. So I just go walk over and I kill that guy. Yep. I don't have to go to 4 different realms. I don't have to double back around.
Whoa,
Then someone
this
gets
is-
sick. And then
You're
I'm
pulling
saying,
apart the entire God of War storyline.
Exactly.
and I'm saying I don't mind it in God of War, but other games do it. And it's just like, you're adding admin. Just let me go
Making
do
it
the
boring.
thing.
Actually, what I think you're touching on as well is like, let's say it's Red Dead Redemption. It's like, hey, go here and take blah blah's son fishing.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? So you take your
Yes.
son fishing. You know something bad has to happen. Otherwise, there's no point
Yeah.
in doing the mission.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you get attacked.
Yeah. But it's just like,
Yeah.
say, go somewhere and then you get attacked. Don't make me go take some random fishing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Although spending time with that kid was quite a nice mission.
He was actually
That
really
was
wholesome.
actually quite
Yeah.
a beautiful moment, actually.
I've got 2 left to go. All right. Second
us.
to last one is that this game that we've just described, the whole thing is made by Ubisoft.
Yep.
So that's just an extra stamp of it's
Yeah.
going to be pretty shit.
Or EA.
Yeah.
Or EA.
published it. Yeah.
Microtransactions
Yeah.
like that in there.
It's a
Yeah.
collaboration between the 2.
Yeah.
It's a
Fork
loot.
trading cards in it somehow. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Loot boxes.
Loot boxes.
And this is a very specific one for if you've played The Last of Us 2. If you haven't, please just ignore what I'm about to say. But you're forced to play as a character that just killed the main character of the first game in the
Yeah.
franchise.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that.
That was
Which
Yeah.
honestly, and I love The Last of Us purely for gameplay. Like I love stealthing around and beating people up and shit. When I found that out, I had to put the controller down for like a couple of days and then be like, nah, just play it. It must be good.
Yeah.
I see what they were trying to do, but it was just like, I've already done this massive, arduous journey, and now I have to go do it all from the perspective of the person that I'm trying to get rid
Yeah.
of. I've got one last one as well, and that is when you're taking on someone, like a boss of some kind, and it's real honey, he's got all these mean moves, and then for whatever reason, he jumps on your party so you can play as him as a character, and then all of a sudden
He
they
sucks.
suck. They're terrible
He
at it.
sucks. Tekken is bad like that back in the day.
You'd beat them and you'd be like, they'd be like flying, doing laser eyes. You're like, yo, and then you try and do it. And it's just
Yeah.
like,
Nah, G.
That's a good call.
Yeah, man, that's a good one. You got any other Storm?
No, I love all games.
Wow, even
Wow.
like really bad dark
Yeah.
games
really
about like
bad
murdering
ones?
and stuff.
Yeah. hell
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I've got no shame in admitting that I'm stealing this from someone else. But someone, we're going to call them Did You Know Gaming Facts? I didn't call them that. They call them that themselves on Instagram.
Good on
They
them.
went in here and posted up some gaming hot takes, controversial opinions. So I thought I'd run through these with yous and see whether you would agree or not.
yeah.
Okay, hot take number 1, controversial gaming opinion. Modern video games take no skill to play. Discuss.
Yeah, I'd like to see you play Elden Ring, bruh.
Yeah, you
How dare you?
son of a B.
Wow, I don't know how emotional I was going to get during this.
I would say Call of Duty. What's a Warfare?
Online. Any online shit does.
Modern kill foreigners. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's completely
Whoa.
bullshit.
Well, that's what you do in the game, man.
Oh, you don't say it out loud.
People have.
Shit.
That is a completely bullshit gaming take. My missus struggles to play any freaking modern game,
Yeah.
but she can play like Mario and shit.
Yeah. I was gonna say like, oh, you're gonna tell me that Pac-Man is gonna be harder than trying
Yeah.
to clock Elden Ring?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think comparatively, video games may have gotten easier as they're trying to appeal to the masses. But also, the reason why video games were hard years and years and years ago is because they wanted to drag out an hour's worth of content into 8 or 10
That's
or
true,
12.
true.
Because, they couldn't make a lot back then.
Yeah.
So I think within the Noob Squad,
So
we can
no.
all agree that no, it's bullshit.
Well,
Yeah.
it depends. I mean, if the game is freaking, I don't know, something set on easiest mode, then sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you've got different modes to play. So, that's on you.
And I don't want us to all come across as extremely defensive right now because I know we are. But no,
Disagree.
Also, yeah, things are.
Why do we feel like
way
that was
easier.
attacking us?
Yeah.
It said Noob Squad when they play modern video games take no skill. No, okay. Hot take number 2. The length of a game isn't a good measure of its quality.
Oh, man, fuck this quiz. No, I would agree.
I don't get fucking
I'd agree to a certain extent. Some games are too long for the sake of it being long, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
Which was intentionally just massive and empty and stupid.
I want to jump in on that and say that I think Assassin's Creed they've turned into Assassin's Creed.
Oi.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Hot take.
take.
Yeah, man.
Hot take.
Agree.
PSA. Oh, yeah, that's a PSA, yo.
I agree. And actually, Storm, I don't know if you'd agree with this. Even my favorite game of all time, The Witcher 3,
Yeah.
it's quite freaking long.
No, don't say that. I
No.
think you have been swayed because we went and played
We
golf
played
with
with Manaya.
Manaya and he said that it was too long. And that was the first time I've ever heard you go, oh, yeah, it's a little bit long. I feel
it
like
is.
you heard it once and you bought onto it. I don't agree. I think it's a great game.
Yeah, you know what? Screw you
Fuck
guys.
this hot takes.
yeah. I'm getting wound
No,
up
sorry.
there.
Why were you gonna say and
I
reason
was-
why you feel like it's a bit long?
Like I was going to say that it's a bit long, but then when it was finished, I was really sad. So
Exactly.
maybe I want it to be longer.
Because I actually got to the point when you do finish the story, like I just kept playing it, and then I got Blood and Wine,
Which is amazing.
the expansion, and I was like, bro, actually, fuck, this
Actually,
game is sick.
you know a game that is too long? Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
when
give
you
you
go to
that.
Mexico and you don't unlock half the map until the end of the game, and then you build a house and
Yeah.
it is so long, man.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Is it? Am I right in saying Red Dead Redemption 2? Is that the one where you go to like a
You go
on
to
a
Guam.
boat? Yeah,
Guam,
or
yeah.
Guatemala.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Dr. Ropata was there.
Yeah, and it's just a shooting gallery for 2 hours.
Yeah,
It's like, yo,
and-
I know how the game works.
And
Like,
I just felt like this is unnecessary. Like it's like the equivalent of anime filler. Like we don't need this.
Yeah.
You didn't need. to
I
no
thought
good.
that
Nothing.
exact thing as well.
Did
when
you
the-
really?
Yeah.
Wait,
Just
you
like
guys
anime
are so
filler.
similar. Oh,
Yeah.
Sick, man. We're brothers. Anyway, another hot take. There hasn't been a good Call of Duty game since Black Ops 2.
Agree.
I disagree that Black Ops 2 was shit as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
that's,
gonna-
that's
I-
why
I
I'm
thought I
agreeing
was
that
gonna
it's,
say.
yeah. There hasn't been because
Black
most
Ops-
of them aren't very good.
Yeah, Black Ops 1 was sick because the campaign was sick. You like going down the Vietnam River listening to Creedence Clearwater Revival, Fortunate Son.
Yeah.
And then you like people are popping up. It's like awesome. And then from that point onwards, it just was garbage.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, but that's us.
So-
And we're all 30 pretty much.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's an old people take.
yeah, the young people out there be getting angry.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck this one. Glitches can make games better.
Who?
Glitches.
I'm actually going to agree with that to a point, because I think it's Goat Simulator. I haven't played it, but I've watched lots of videos, and that is weird because it's kind of glitchy, but it makes it really fun.
I feel like this hot take needs to rephrase itself because
Yeah.
I think there's games that are designed specifically to be able to make the most out
To
of
be a bit
glitches, like
wacky.
those simulator type
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
and even in some indie games have like weird glitches in them where you
Can be
probably
really funny. But
I'm indifferent. I don't use glitches, but if people want to do funny stuff with glitches, it's all good. I don't really care.
But it's more if you were playing a game and then a glitch happened and it ruined that experience.
Oh, well, if
then-
that had like a bug,
Yeah, yeah.
well then that'd be bullshit.
Yeah.
But I think we're just talking about.
That's all right, Keith.
Nah,
It's not-
like, seriously.
Seriously.
All right.
Coming out swinging. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Finally. This one,
I'm trying to be real chill on this one.
I don't think you cared. Final hot take from Did You Know Gaming Facts. Saints Row is more fun series than Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, man, totally agree, bro. What a bullshit thing to say. Who?
Oh, yeah, that's possibly the worst hot take. ever.
Oi, I'm glad you brought this segment into the podcast because I'm nice and wound up now.
Wait, cold fakes, more like it.
I literally did a segment last week on how bad Saints Row is and all the reviews are.
And you know what? Those guys listen to us and they would have been sitting there
Wait,
going, you
that's-
know who's going to get wound up by this?
Wait, they've taken.
They've
it's
stolen
a
our
full
content.
Content circle.
So you didn't even need
So
to
I-
apologize for
I
stealing
didn't
it.
even- They stole our shit.
Yeah.
So we all disagree with that, right?
Oh, yeah, fuck Saints Row.
Yeah, Saints Row sucks.
I mean, like the third one was...
if you like it, it's a bad sign.
Nah, I disagree as well.
Nah, look, shucks, you can like it. It's fine. Did you like it?
No, I haven't even played any Saints Row.
Did you like the third one?
No, I've
Just
played
admit
about
it.
30 minutes of Saints Row.
Oh, and did you enjoy it?
And it was better than any GTA game
I
I've
knew
ever
it!
played.
I knew it!
All right. So next Friday, I suppose time doesn't really matter in podcast land, but we do have the year's
Keezy
first.
seems very rushed though for some reason. I don't know.
Sad guy. We do have our no sleep till completion. You put up a post naming a couple of games and getting people to put in their own thoughts and desires about what we should do for our no sleep till completion. I think Pro Skater 2 was in there.
Yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. We had a bunch of different ones. Halo 2, Crash Warped. We had a lot of suggestions. GTA 5 was one of them from Aaron Joe Jury. Don't be silly. Tekken 3, that's a good one.
Oh, that's a
GoldenEye
good
on the
one.
N64.
Certainly worth following up, by the way, that one.
Yeah, a lot of ones for no City Skylines, but there was one
I'm out.
for... Yeah, I was worried that might be the case. What game are you playing at the moment, Keezy? Elden Ring. There was a lot of get it with it and
lot
play
of-
Elden Ring.
I
And then
get it.
A lot of people saying, don't be stupid, that would take weeks.
Yeah.
So I think we've landed on Crash Team Racing is what we're going to do for
Yeah.
our first no
Seems
sleep
like
to
a popular
completion.
one.
The original?
The PlayStation, the remastered.
The remaster.
The
I think,
remaster.
yeah.
The
Just because we
remastered.
can't get the original working, we've gone it's admin. I
Is it
think.
available to download on the PlayStation Store, like the retro version? I bet it is.
Have a look.
Have a look, because I
We'll have
reckon
a
we do
look.
the original just for extra,
Yeah.
Well, isn't the remastered the same as the original, but just updated graphics?
It's got way more shit in there to flesh it out.
Okay.
Whereas the original, I don't know. I just feel like if you're going to do an OG, if we can do the actual OG, it could be quite fun.
Yeah, sweet. All right.
Up to you guys, though.
Well, Crash Team Racing in either form, whether it's the OG or whether it's the remastered, that's what we're going to do for our No Sleep to completion Friday, the 9th of September is what we're looking at. So hopefully you can join us on the ACC's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch stream as well, where we're going to be playing that game from 2 p.m. right up until we finish. We don't get to leave the building until then. Any last thoughts?
Love video games.
Oh, damn it. That was my last thought.
Oh, damn it, Shucks.
Damn it. I also really like video games.
Yeah, only likes them though.
Yeah. I've got a video game bone in my body.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. All right. And on that note, happy gaming.
That was the Noob Squad podcast. For more, follow the ACC on Facebook.